everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Happy Tuesday. We are matching again, you guys, and I will show you in just a second, but this is starting to get kind of weird. We're getting into some news about Giannis as well as Lou Will and what he thinks about load management. But before we do all that, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Here's the Fumble squad. We have me and Britt in red on the outside, Jackie in black in the middle. This is perfect and weird at the same time. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Hey everybody, I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JRayTheFanatic.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. It is Red and Black Day, but it is also a very special day. Ladies, what day is today? It's Taco Tuesday!
So good, so good. Once again, I had tacos on the wrong day of the week. I had them on Sunday, but hey, maybe I'll have them again today. I don't know why I do this to myself literally every week. Okay, you guys, let's jump in with this first update about Giannis. But first, before I do that, I just want to say, we told you so. This is exactly what we've been saying would happen for like forever. We never doubted that Giannis was going to be staying with the Bucks, and that's exactly what he's doing. So he is signing a contract extension with the Bucks. It's a 5-year, $228.2 million Supermax extension, which is the largest deal in NBA history. So that's pretty crazy, but we knew he was going to be staying loyal to Milwaukee. We didn't think that he was going to be jumping ship quite yet. It may happen in the future, but for now, he is staying there for 5 more years with that Supermax extension. He tweeted about it, writing, "This is my home. This is my city. I'm blessed to be able to be part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on. Let's get it." So there we go, you guys. Giannis is staying a Buck. Now, Jackie, what's your reaction to this news?
Just that we knew it was going to happen. I'm really happy for him. You know, he definitely deserves it. I think that franchise and all those fans should be elated right now because this is something that they, you know, you're just always unsure of until you know what I mean? Like, I think Lakers fans kind of went through it with AD just a little bit, but same thing with him. I think we knew this was going to happen. What I did, the main thought that I had is how funny it is that we're saying this is the largest contract in NBA. I feel like we say that every single year. There's it's the next guy up. Like next year, it's going to be somebody else who signs this crazy deal. But I'm happy for him, and I definitely think it's something that he deserves and that franchise and that city deserves. So I'm excited for him.
I'm excited for him too. Mamba Machine in the chat here says, personally, I wouldn't do this because I would want to have as much power as possible as a player in the league, put the Bucks on their heels and make them prove themselves this season. Britt, what do you think about that kind of perspective when looking at Giannis's deal with the Bucks?
He just signed the highest, biggest contract. Like, how much more on their heels do they need to be put? How much more money are they going to give him? He also has to have enough money to have teammates around him. Come on, Mamba, whatever your name is. Like, don't be greedy. Like, he still signed the largest deal in NBA history. So that's literally like Patrick Mahomes saying, like, oh, half of or $500 million. I'll just wait a little bit. You guys don't deserve me yet. Like, I'm going to make you guys work harder. If you guys give him any more money, he don't got enough money to pay anybody else on the dang team. So I think it's a great deal. Like, obviously, it's a fitting deal for his titles. He is a back-to-back NBA MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year award. The only other 2 players to ever do that in the same season was Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, and those are guys that we will talk about forever and ever as some of the greatest players to ever play. So I think it's awesome, and I think his loyalty that's well deserving for the loyalty part of it, because we do see a lot of times players jump ship and take a larger deal elsewhere or whatever the case is. So I think this was a beautiful marriage between both. The Bucks got, their star guy and Giannis got his paycheck. So it works out for everybody involved. And there's still going to be, because of the CBA that's coming up with the NBA, there's still enough money to spread around. And, we are going to hear probably next year another player sign a bigger contract because the NBA and how their CBA works. It works on their TV deals and it works on whatever, and it's consistently going to get bigger and bigger. So yeah, I think it's awesome. Congratulations to Giannis. And this proves even more my theory yesterday that this was all just a big joke. That barber guy was all trying to throw us off. And it clearly was a big joke because a day later, Giannis signs the largest contract in NBA history. So
I still think the barber is just moving on. And he was like, I phrased that all wrong. He's probably moving to another.
Yeah, no, I think he's moving on as well, but I think they were trying to show, like, as the joke part that Giannis was leaving.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Because tagging Bleacher Report, that guy knew what he was doing.
Right.
He was definitely in on it. Yeah. Well, Britt, you just pointed out something really important, that both sides of this deal are getting what they want. Giannis is getting his money. The Bucks are getting Giannis. But now the only thing that's left is for Giannis to get a ring. So hopefully he can do that in the next 5 years.
Gotta be good in the playoffs first, though. Yeah, all that regular season accolades don't mean nothing. You got to fix that playoff run, my guy. But, congratulations.
He's got 5 years. He's got 5 years to do that. So
at this point in Michael Jordan's career, he hadn't won a ring yet either. So I believe in you, Giannis. I believe in you.
But let's also, if we can just, James Harden, hint, both sides got what they want. Just let that sink in. And now we can move on. It's fine.
All right, let's get into this next update. So this is all about Lou Will. So Lou Will kind of had an interesting take on load management. This was all after Sunday's preseason game against the Lakers. He says, I've been in the league long enough. I was in the league pre-load management. That's how I was trained. My personal opinion is no. I'm just going to play the 72-game season. So last season, he only missed 7 games, and 2 of those were because of a mandatory quarantine when he was in the bubble. He played 75 games the year before that and 79 in 2017-2018. So he clearly is not the type to even ask for load management. But fans obviously took that as shots at Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's load management has been I feel like a source of contention among fans and the league, in the league. In the past, Lou Will did shut down rumors that he was bothered by Kawhi's load management. You guys remember there was this rumor going around that they were all bristling at the load management issue. But yeah, it doesn't mean that Lou Will is going to be participating or partaking in any sort of load management this year. So Britt, I want to ask you, do you feel that most people in the league, in particular veterans, agree with this sentiment that Lou Will has?
As far as no load management, you just play the season. No, I just think we're in a different era of basketball, and this is all started by Greg Popovich, and it worked well because his team went on to win the championship. Once he started the load management with like Tim Duncan and stuff like that, and Tony Parker and those guys, and they were successful, and those guys played very, very long careers. I mean, Tim Duncan just retired, he played a really long career, and so to see how much longer guys can play and how more they are effective in a game if they have those opportunities for load management. And obviously you have to be very careful with the load management. Kawhi Leonard did not sit in any top game. He sat in when they're playing the Warriors or something. He never sat in a decent, and even in a semi-decent game, he didn't actually even sit that much last year. It was more of a minutes control thing. They would have him in less minutes in certain games, but he didn't really sit out a lot of games last year. And if he did, it was a game that was not a televised game. It was a game that was not, a divisional game, not a conference game, anything like that. So I think it's just how you manage the load management. Obviously, if you're having stars sit in big games or in certain situations and not telling people ahead of time, we always knew, as a Clippers fan, I always knew the games when Kawhi was going to sit before a couple days before. I always knew that kind of stuff, and it wasn't a situation or an issue because people would know if a player is going to sit or not. And honestly, like I said, we didn't see him sit that much. There was talk of him sitting more than he was, but he didn't actually sit as much as we thought he was going to sit. So I think it's if you want longevity in the league and the second and the third, and coaches want their players to be the best available when it matters, then yes, load management is something that I think people do now, and players have so many other things going on. LeBron James is probably going to utilize load management because he is older in his career and he wants the opportunity to play in the playoffs and be 100% once you get to the playoffs, not 100% at the beginning of the season or this, that, and the third. So for people that are vets, yes, load management makes perfect sense. Now, young guys like Zion, I don't think should really be getting load management. Obviously, when he's coming off his injury and they're still trying to work and tweak a couple things, yes, let's do minute restrictions, this, that, and the third. But if they're saying he's healthy, then that man needs to be on the court in every single game, and you just pay your dues. You got to pay your dues. When all of these guys were younger, none of them, LeBron, Kawhi, PG, none of them were doing load management back in their younger days, okay? This is something that is reserved for older players or reserved for players that are coming back from an injury. So if players are just going to be load management just because they feel like resting a game and they're 22 years old, like Jason Tatum or something, no, that's whack to me.
All right. And then, Jackie, do you take this as shots fired at Kawhi, or is he really just speaking for himself and not even considering Kawhi?
Oh, I definitely think it's shots fired because this isn't something you really need to address otherwise. You know what I mean? There's like Britt said, there are players who probably do think like Lou Williams, but, you know, they're the star on their team, or like she said, they're a little older, and you might want to play every game, but as your coach, I'm not going to let you play every game because I understand the physicality of the game, and I understand that once we get, you know, towards playoffs or end of the season, if we need to make a hard push to make sure we get to playoffs, I need you to be 100%. So it's really not up to you sometimes, you know. I'm sure a lot of guys, I'm sure if LeBron could play every single game, he would, but like he told you, his body be on fire. He cannot do that anymore in his career. He's not there anymore. And even if he wanted to, it wouldn't be a thing because, again, the coach's job is to make sure that the players are in the best condition possible late in the season or in the playoffs. So load management is a requirement for that. It's genius. I'm not anti-load management at all. I think what Lou Williams is saying, it's one thing for the coach to be like, hey, it's about that time. We need to kind of reserve your energy. We need to make sure you're ready for this next phase of this season versus Kawhi saying, hey, I want to. And, you know, we don't know for sure that that's a thing. That's kind of what we've heard, but, you know, sometimes what you hear isn't 100%. So I think he's speaking to the rumors that say that Kawhi is the one that's saying, hey, I don't want to play this game. And, you know, someone in the chat said it, is I agree with Lou on that. Like, if that's the narrative, if Kawhi is really the one that's saying, hey, I don't want to play this game, I'm going to load manage this game, I get why you would feel that some kind of way about that. But on the flip side, if Kawhi is going out there night after night and he's getting it done when he's on the court and he's your star player, Britt says this all the time, he gets a little bit more leeway. That's just the way life goes. And I think Lou Williams needs to maybe own that a little bit. I get that he feels some type of way about that, but this is life. This isn't just basketball. The star on whatever team it is, if it's basketball or your job in a corporate office, the star player gets a little bit better treatment. That's just life. You need to kind of come to terms with that and maybe say less.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to that point too, Jackie, which you just honestly brought up like this huge point, Lou Will is the forever sixth man of the year. Lou Will plays like 22 minutes a game. He's literally talking about a guy that plays 36 minutes a game plus sometimes, you know? So like you're playing technically half the time that somebody else is playing.
Guys are saying about RexMD.com.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Is that Alexa? What is that?
I have no idea.
Happier with the product.
Leo?
I know Britt has an Alexa, so I'm just gonna assume it's Alexa losing her mind again.
Okay. Don't be cutting me off, Alexa. You rude.
That was weird.
But no, I think it was because I have other things up and like a commercial must have came up on something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I have no idea. But yes, Lou Will is a sixth man, you know, like you're not a starter. You've really never been a starter in your career. So don't say anything about people that are starting and what they're doing on the court. I'm just saying. Leo wanted to add no days off. Bye, Leo. Leo, you ain't starting either. You're not starting either.
Leo's like, I start every day. This show would not start without me. What you mean? What you mean?
But yeah, I am totally with you guys. I've never opposed load management. Of course, there has to be a limit to it. It can't be taken advantage of. But I think that if the NBA wants to continue to profit off of, star players, they need to be able to let them take some time to rest. Robert Anderson, who is always saying great things in our chat, he posted something that said something like, back in the day in the NFL, they used to wear helmets made out of leather, like leather straps or whatever. When you know better, you do better. And it's true. I mean,
facts, yeah.
Right. Like back in the day, maybe people were not load managing as much, but now that we realize how beneficial it can be for a player's physical health, it's can be smart to take advantage of that, especially if the league wants to keep him around. So I'm with you guys 100%. And I think if Lou Will wants to not take advantage of any sort of load management, he is absolutely within his right to do that, just as Kawhi or LeBron is able to take advantage of load management for themselves. Wow, Tyler Jones in the chat says, Lou Williams, worry about yourself. Grow up acting like a diva. Like, stop dying to go to the East and West, but all the blame is on Kawhi. When does Lou Will take the blame? I don't think Lou Will is blaming. I'm very confused by that. I just saw this really angry chat in there. I wanted to read it out loud. I don't think Lou Will is blaming anybody. He's just saying he's not taking advantage of load management. What do you guys think about that angry chat?
It's misguided. That point is misguided because, again, if Lou Williams says to his coach, I want to play all of my 22 minutes, you know what I mean? First of all, it's easy for a coach to manage that. But on second point, if the coach says, no, you looked a little tired the last couple games, I'm going to reduce you down to 15. Lou doesn't get to decide that, you know what I mean? And so, again, I know what Lou's talking about. Lou doesn't want Kawhi walking up to the coach and saying, hey, I think I need a little bit of load management this game. But that's the privilege of being the star on that team. Lou Williams needs to be exactly what Britt said, the best sixth man. Part of being the best sixth man is supporting the rest of your cast, my guy. So you need to do a little bit better and accept that, play your role, say less. And again, with what we saw chemistry-wise with the Clippers last season, you shouldn't be saying nothing like this in the media. Y'all should be having pizza night, game night, whatever, and don't say anything to shade each other because you've got to get that chemistry right going into this upcoming season. So this was out of pocket just all the way around for me. And I don't like to give Clippers any advice, but Lou really does need to do better in this situation.
Yeah. All right.
All these guys are grown. I'm sure they know their bodies at a certain point. Like, they're grown men. Like, if Kawhi does feel like his body is whatever, like, obviously Kawhi wants to win a championship. So he's not wanting to play because he doesn't want to win. Like, if he needs to take a break on a crappy game, who cares? Move on.
Right.
Y'all are supposed to be able to win without him anyway. Like, you guys are supposed to be the best bench in the league, so win without him. Do it. And it helps you. It helps your stats out because you get in the game more. So chill out.
Right. You can go to 23 minutes.
All right, you guys, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, can you take us into the post up?
Yes. All right. It's time for post up with your girl, Jackie Ray. I see you, Nerd Soul, in the chat. And yes, I said what I said. Pizza night. Clippers need to be doing pizza night. It's a good time. So how you think we got these colors together? I'm just kidding. We've never done a pizza night. Anywho, so look, I hope you guys watched the game last night. It was amazing between the Ravens and the Browns. I think that was probably the most pimp move I've ever seen in my life. I want to show you guys this because look, this is, what is his name? Tracy McSorley. So when this happens, I'm like, oh, damn, I don't even know who their backup is after that because RG3 is hurt. But look, like coming out of the bat cave, it was Lamar Jackson just coming out there like, here I am to save the day. The commentators went nuts and they were like, okay. And then he immediately goes down there, gets his groove back, throws for a touchdown. And then I got to give Tracy some props because he could barely walk to the locker room unassisted. But he did not care. He was like, I might fall over, but I'm going to stop. My boy just threw this touchdown. Hold on, let me hobble. The Ravens were so about that life at that moment. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But before all of that amazingness, like I said, Lamar Jackson was in the locker room. All the reporters were saying, we don't know why he's in the locker room. He's not been, written off for the rest of the day. We don't know what's going on. And so then Twitter decided to make their own assumptions. It's a very, I don't like these assumptions, but you see it. This one's my favorite. Like Ravens say cramps, me poop run. So everyone decided to say that Lamar Jackson was having a moment in time that he needed some privacy, basically. I'm trying to say it as not nasty as I can. And Twitter just went to town saying that that's what he was doing. He was in there, handling his number 2, so much so that he had to address it in a post-game interview and tell y'all that was not what he was doing. So let's take a look at that.
Putting Paul Pierce. I didn't put Paul Pierce. I was cramping him. The 2 passes I throw, like right before those 2 passes I throw to Willie and Mark, the overthrows, I was cramping my throwing arm. And I'm telling coach, I'm like, man, I need to get some salt in my system real quick. And, we punt the ball. I'm on the sideline. Titans end up catching the pick on an interception. We go down and score. And right after that, I get a ball to JK, and my legs just start cramping. And I'm like, bro, I ain't putting a.
That makes sense to me because let's not forget that the man is just now getting over COVID, and he wasn't asymptomatic. He said when he was first tested positive for COVID, he was already tired. Then once he got it, he just literally slept for 10 days. His first game back was last week. He said he was extremely exhausted the entire game. So cramping does not seem like it's outside of the realm of possibilities, at least to me. But the Twitter poop brigade was not having it. They were still on it. They made him come back out and defend himself. But this is hilarious to me. It says John Harbaugh coming to check on Lamar Jackson. Look at that, just peeking under the toilet. I hate when kids do this, by the way. But Lamar Jackson says, y'all tripping. I definitely wasn't taking a poo. But y'all just would not let it go. And then on top of that, RG3 had to get in on it. You over there sitting somewhere hobbled and you had to say this, Browns lead and then Lamar after pooping. See, the thing is, we're going to be talking about this because you remember we just stopped talking about, I don't even know if I should bring it up, but the James Harden short situation. Britt just now let us live that down about a month ago. Can we not talk about Lamar and the possibility if he was, who cares? He came out there and did the thing. Britt, are you going, what is your view on this? Was he pooping or cramping?
Definitely, hey, Smokey back here taking a crap. He was definitely taking a crap. Everybody knows that run. Okay, y'all, we've been a family for a minute now. Everybody's done that run before. Everybody knows, like, hey, get out the way. You run into the toilet. You got to go to the bathroom. He had to go to the bathroom. He came back not only better in the last 2 minutes and scoring on that 4th and 5, he literally looked a couple pounds lighter. Like, he looked lighter.
Oh, my God, Britt.
Like, ready to go. And I spoke to several NFL players that said, you do not go to the back if you're cramping. If you need salt or something or they're going to rub you out, they do that on the field. They do not take you to the back and run. He's running to the back by himself to go get whatever. No, he went and took a crap. I don't understand why he's so, sad, don't want to admit it. But the Paul Pierce situation that he was talking about, Paul Pierce was literally put on the court in a wheelchair and wheeled off I'm dying, my leg hurts. And then he admitted last year, 12 years later, that, no, guys, I actually had to take a crap really bad and I couldn't make it to the bathroom to run by myself, so they had to put me in a wheelchair to take me to the back. Everybody was like, how did he have a leg injury in a wheelchair and now he's just back in the game? It was because he had to take crap. The same thing that happened
but you
again.
got to understand, though, you might not want people to know that. Like, do you want everybody to know?
This is better than James Sharden. I want James to take heed here. If you need to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. You don't try to hold it. God. You don't try to I just got to get a couple more shots off, because then what happens? You crap your pants. You crap your pants, okay? This is what you are supposed to do. He is a role model. He is a leader, you guys. I love you, Lamar Jackson. I love you, my guy.
Well, Lamar, I will say this. Poop or no poop. The way he came out there after, I agree with Britt. I don't know if I'm going to say that he took a couple pounds worth of poop and he looked that much lighter when he came back out there, but he definitely looked much better and it worked. So look, Britt's right. If this is what it takes, mid-game poop from now on. I'm with it. I'm with it. All right.
this conversation. I hate this so much.
Okay, Devin, don't. Listen, Devin, you're going to end up being like James Harden. You're going to be like, I got to hold it in because I'm nervous. I don't want to do it. And you're going to end up like James. Don't be embarrassed.
Just make sure you do that while we're still virtual. Don't do that when we get back in the studio. That's all I got to say about that one, okay?
That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I just don't like talking about all of these bowel movements of athletes. We know too much. We know way too much, you guys. I hate that.
And that's why Lamar's out here deny. So he agrees with you, Devin. I still think it's funny. But
I'm like the mom that's like, yeah, you did a poopy. You did a job.
Right? And me and Devin are just like the siblings that are like, we don't need to hear about his poopy.
Yeah.
Hey,
shut up.
Yes. Keep on, my guy. Do your thing.
Well, I can promise you will never have a conversation about Jackie Ray and her number twos. That will never happen in life. I will claim that I had the straight flu, and I'm just not going to come back out if y'all going to start saying these things about me. But let's move on, because otherwise I feel like we could talk about this poo all day. Now, look, I know she's going to get mad, but despite what Britt Johnson says all the time, LeBron James is not a bandwagon fan. He's always repped all things Cleveland. No, all things Cleveland and the Cowboys. And then outside of that, he's like me. He's just a fan of who he likes. He likes people, but he always reps for Cleveland and the Cowboys. Those are his squads. And we know this because he was tweeting all through the game last night. He started out with this one that says, "Let's go Browns." And that was at the beginning of the game. And then on the scoring drive for the Browns, he tweeted about that. He said, "Hell yeah." And then, of course, when they lost, he didn't bow out of the Twitter world. He said, okay, wow, what a game. At which point, Ray Lewis, now I think you guys all remember Ray Lewis, he decided to tweet this. He says, "Be careful." Now, on the surface, what I think he's saying is, be careful against them Ravens. You don't want to sleep on them Ravens. You don't want to count them out when you think you're up or whatever. I think that's what he's saying. I think. But let's not forget that it was just 19 years ago that Ray Lewis didn't disclose a lot of information when it came to two people being murdered at a party that he was at. And he ended up having to plead guilty to obstruction of justice. He came back on this amazing redemption tour and, all God helped me deliver him, but God still didn't help him deliver the facts of that case, but that's a whole nother story. But I just think that maybe you be careful on issuing a tweet that sounds slightly threatening when you have that kind of background. Jay Smith 2.0 said the same thing because Ray Lewis ended up deleting that tweet. And then Jay Smith is like, nah, fam, you ain't getting away with this delete. Like, we're going to put this back out here. So I don't know. I get that was 19 years ago and whatnot. But, Devin, I'm going to come to you. Is this do you think he meant what I said? Like, hey, be careful. Don't sleep on my Ravens. Or do you think he's saying something else?
I think he's saying what you think. Like, I don't think that he's out there really trying to say anything like controversial or like threatening or whatever. I think I don't think it was that serious. But of course, people want to take these kinds of things and make them, sensationalize them. But I really don't think it was that serious.
Yeah, but I think that the reason, Britt, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think the reason why people were like, ooh, Ray Lewis out here threatening people is because of his past?
I think what made it bad was the fact that he deleted it because just like what happened with his murder case, where's the suit? He burned the suit.
Right.
Like nobody ever found the suit that he was wearing that night. And in this case, he tried to do the same thing on Twitter and delete the tweet. So if you just keep the tweet there, then ain't no one going to question anything. Like it's just literally a fun, like, oh, be careful, blah, blah, because you're talking about my team now. I'm a Ravens fan, blah, blah, this kind of stuff. And obviously we know he played with the Ravens. So I think it's his old ways coming back up because we're still looking for that suit, my guy. Still looking for it.
Yeah. So don't burn the evidence. Burning the evidence always makes you look guilty. You guys know I'm going to give you as much criminal advice sometimes as I can.
Now on Twitter we can screenshot that clearly.
Yeah, and it lives forever. Somebody got it. Yeah, somebody got it. I want to shout out Donnie Trout, who kind of circled back to what we were just talking about. He said, he's talking about the Lamar Jackson situation. He said he played for Louisville. I know our sports stars don't do anything normal anymore. Poop and strippers, apparently we do what we have to do to win. All right, so poop and strippers. Let's don't, hopefully not at the same time. All right, let's move on to this next one. Poor Devin, she's just having such a hard time. Okay, so like I said, the Clippers need to get their chemistry together, but my Lakers squad already have their chemistry together. I love it. It's continuing to grow. We saw yesterday that Trez and AD were all excited about Trez's bling, and now Kuz is out here trolling, or at least giving AD a hard time for his new fancy whip. Take a look.
Yo, big dog. Look at this car. This dude, you acting different. Yo, you win one championship and you don't know how to act. Oh.
Okay, sidebar though, why do the doors have to open that way? Like, is that just, that's extra to me. Can you just have the suicide doors or just the normal doors? The backward doors is throwing me off, but you know, whatever. But for once, me and Twitter, we all agree that the chemistry that the Lakers are showing is amazing. Yes, that is a Rolls Royce. Again, with the backward doors, it's a Rolls. Anyway, so Francis says, Kuz, all very funny. These guys are really one hell of a brotherhood. I just wish Brandon Ingram was still with them. I really miss Ingram playing with us. And the big head, like he didn't earn it all. You go big head, nice whip. Yeah, see, you know, I do agree. I kind of miss Brandon Ingram a little bit as well. I wish he was participating in the shenanigans, but it works. What we got works, so it is what it is. I'm excited that we have this chemistry. We've got everybody on the squad that I think we need on the squad, so I'm excited about that. But that's just me, because LeVar Ball, he is not as excited as I am these days. I think we just gave him his flowers about having all his boys in the league, and now we got to take at least one back, because LiAngelo and two others are released from the Pistons after their second preseason game on Sunday. You guys know, because we've talked about this several times, he was signed to a non-guaranteed one-year deal 2 weeks ago, and now they've let him go. Britt talked about this. She kind of gave us the inside tip, like that's probably not going to happen. You know, as far as him making the main squad, I think we all co-signed on that. But LeVar clearly doesn't watch the show, because he just thought that this was the end-all be-all thing. And he has a quote. He actually was answering questions. A Bleacher Report had a thing called, you know, Ask Me Anything. And he had something to say. He said, the people in Detroit are great. I love the fans, but the franchise over there is raggedy as hell. They don't know a good player. I was giving them a lottery pick for free. LiAngelo has the skills to play and the notoriety to bring everyone to the game. How do you throw that out the window? They're going to learn the hard way. My boys are going to end up together playing somewhere Jello can shoot the lights out. So that was raggedy what they did, but hey, they gonna learn again the hard way. So I don't think Detroit's gonna learn that much in this. I think that this went kind of exactly the way we thought it was gonna go. Britt, are you surprised that they kind of cut ties with him at all, and he's not even gonna end up on a G League team?
I just want the chat to say they're sorry to me. I need an apology because you guys were going in on me. Even though I said before, I did not actually say that LiAngelo wasn't ever going to make it into the league. I said he needed to work harder, and you guys apologized to me. Like, that's all I have to say to this. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry.
All right, she's waiting, y'all. She's waiting. She's looking at the chat. I know y'all see her looking at the chat. So go ahead and type them apologies, because she's clearly waiting. And
then now people are like, Jello is not an NBA player. You guys were like all up Jello's butt 2 seconds ago. Like 2 seconds ago. And I'm still not saying he can't get picked up by another team. So y'all need to, because I never was dissing LiAngelo. He's actually my favorite of the three as far as just like as a person. Yeah. Hey,
let's be clear.
That picture. That one picture changed it all.
It did, because I wasn't checking for me. Then I was like, "Who is that?" You're right. You're right.
I want to ask you guys. Is it really raggedy of the Pistons to let go of LiAngelo? That's part of the business. That happens sometimes. Would you guys say it's raggedy as hell?
Well, first of all, raggedy is one of my favorite words. So the fact that LeVar Ball used this, I'm not going to take the full flower away because I just tell people they raggedy all the time, and sometimes they don't know what I mean. But no, this was not raggedy. But I'm not mad at him for saying this, though, to be honest, because that's his son. So he should think as highly of his son as possible, and he should think that Detroit should think as highly of his son as possible. And sometimes when you are the father or family member of some person, you can't see the forest from the trees, as my grandmother used to say. So he's supposed to think they're raggedy. I don't think that they're raggedy, but I think LeVar is supposed to think that they're raggedy. So I'm okay with this whole thing.
I think him coming out and saying something about it kind of is like, now you kind of deter teams from even wanting to like bring your son in for like a tryout or something, because they're like, no, because if we don't sign him, even it'll never be in your eyes because he just sucks or he doesn't fit in with our team. It's going to be because, we raggedy. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're doing. And it's never going to be your son's fault. Like, why don't you ask the Pistons, hey, what did my son do wrong? What does he need to work on so he can get another opportunity? Like, why not go that route sometimes? Like, that to me seems like the logical thing to do, because now NFL or NBA teams are going to be like, man, I ain't signing like LiAngelo or giving him any kind of chance because if anything happens, LeVar is going to put it out in the media that we're just like being like this because it's his son or he's da-da-da-da and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't like that energy. Chill.
I don't like it either. I get why he said it, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't think that's the right move at all.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has probably been a detriment to his kids as far as how much he talks. But on this specific one, I get it. He's just mad. LeVar is mad right now. And so technically him saying they raggedy as hell is literally a step down from some of the stuff he said in the past. So I'm going to give him a pass on this one because at least he's saying a little bit less. Just a tiny bit less. All right. So look, you guys going to leave my baby goat alone. Y'all know that Luka is my baby goat. I love my baby goat. I get what y'all are saying. He hasn't been off for that long since the bubble, but let me show y'all this picture of my baby goat. He looking like a full-grown cow right in that one. He's a little chunky. He's a little chunky in that picture, but I don't care. He's still my baby goat. He gained that weight fast, though. That's the only thing. I don't understand how he gained that weight so fast, but of course, Twitter coming out here and they fat shaming my boy. This one says, LOL, they called Luka fat and he dropped 27 and 8. Yes, see? So he's carrying the weight, literally, so it's fine with that. And then this next user says, fat Luka winning MVP this year. Okay, if that's fine, I'm okay with him being fat and winning MVP. I'm okay with that. So Twitter, you and your little fat Luka statements, I'm just not here for it. He can lose the weight. It's not like he's Zion big, and we saw Zion lost that weight. Y'all gonna come off my baby goat. That's just, I have spoken. Let's leave it at that. All right. So this next one, Houston's got all kinds of problems. We've been talking about this for a minute, and I just don't know what's going on in Houston. We know the problems with James Harden. We know Russ is gone, and now it seems that PJ Tucker doesn't feel wanted, which is sad. But NBA Central posted this tweet that says that PJ Tucker, I want to be where I'm wanted. The reporter says, do you feel like the Rockets want you? And PJ Tucker said you should ask them, which obviously means he doesn't feel like he's wanted. He is a 35-year-old veteran. He still doesn't have his extension, and he will become a free agent at the end of this season. But I don't know what he is saying. Like, say what you want to say. If you're not going to say less, then say exactly what it is. Because then he did circle back to the reporter, and he said there are ways to show a player beyond a contract extension that they're valuable to your organization. Aside from paying me and giving me an extension, I don't know how a team would do that. So, Britt, I'm going to come to you. How could Houston show him that he is valuable outside of showing that man the money?
Listen, y'all are getting real soft on me, and I do not like it. Like, you get paid to play. Like, nobody needs to send you flowers and cuddle with you. You guys are not boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, y'all don't go together. So just stop. Like, this is too emotional for me. This is basketball. Like, play. Mm-hmm. You're paid to play the game. Nobody has to call you like, hey, how you doing? Like, yeah, I saw you make that 3 last night. It was so good. Like, I just loved you on my team. Like, stop. But this is not, like, go there and do your job. This is what you're paid for. If they didn't love you enough, they would have just cut you from the team. You're still on the squad, so just play your game and leave it alone. Like, all of y'all are getting so emotional, and I like sports because I'm not an emotional person. So stop it.
Right.
Stop. Y'all are killing me. I'm just talking about all
this
this
was
sensitive stuff.
I mean, I'm right in the middle. I'm either with Devin on say more, because I know like she wants people to say more, or say less. But don't give just enough where we're like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, because now it does sound like that. It sounds like you mad because it was your birthday last week and Houston forgot. Like, what is happening right now? I'm confused. So, right.
I have to say,
People do get mad when they don't tweet them or don't post them on the team page. We did a story about that once. I forgot what team it was, but yeah, some player got mad because the team didn't post his birthday on the team's Instagram page. Stop.
Right.
Cared.
Yeah, this is one of those moments. I do like the same more moments, but this is one where I'm just kind of like, come on. I don't know. To me, it's like, get over it. You're there. You're getting paid. Relax.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of money.
Shush. Right. All right. Look, this next one is exactly why everyone was pulling so hard for Nate Robinson, because we didn't want Jake Paul to become more of Jake Paul. His mouth is already too big. Now it's bigger. I was really pissed at Kerry Champion and Jamil Hill because they made him look good. That lasted for a very small amount of time because he's out here again reminding us why he's such a tool, because he's trying to get Conor McGregor to fight him. And he's going over the top with his jerkdom in this one. Now, look, viewer discretion is advised. So if y'all are ditching your virtual class right now to watch the Fumble, you might want to hit mute because this is not kid friendly. But I'm not even going to try to describe this video to you. I'm just going to let Jake be Jake so you can get exactly what he's trying to say to get Conor McGregor to fight him. Take a look.
What the fuck is up, you Irish cunt? Good morning, Conor McGregor. I know you're probably beating up old dudes in a bar right now, or maybe you're jacking off because you're sick of fucking your wife. I mean, she's a 4, Conor. You could do a lot better, but happy Monday.
Oh
my team sent you a $50 million offer this morning. $50 million cash, proof of funds, the biggest fight offer you've ever been offered, but you're scared to fight me, Conor. You're ducking me because you don't want to lose to a fucking YouTuber. You're 0-1 as a boxer. I'm 2-0 as a boxer. I just came off the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history, but you want to fight Dustin Prober, who has less followers on Instagram than my fucking dog. That's a fact. And Dana White, you're a fucking pussy too, you ugly fucking bald bitch. You said there's 0% chance of this fight happening, but there's 0% chance of you getting some fucking pussy. Conor, you're scared. Dana, you're scared. Sign the fucking contract, you idiots. Jesus fucking Christ. Irish bitch.
Oh my God.
Okay. So all of that, Britt.
Sorry.
All of that. Yeah. So first of all, a giant paper check is not proof of funds. Let's start there. Second of all, did you have to address the man's wife? I get it. You trying to get a rise out of him, but yeah, no, Britt, you had the best face for your first thoughts on this.
He's, first of all, this is what begging looks like. He is begging Conor McGregor to fight him. Like, that's what this is. Just to be clear, that's what that looks like. Secondly, he literally reminds me of those guys when you're walking down the street and they're like, oh, hey, girl, you so fine, da-da-da. And then the girl says, I don't want to talk to you. Well, F you, you ugly anyway, blah, blah.
Right.
This is that moment. Because Conor McGregor doesn't want to fight him. Now Conor McGregor is this, that, and the third, yada, yada, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just like, and he's such a clown, like, my guy. And then comparing, oh, well, you're not even a good fighter because you don't have a bunch of Instagram followers. Being an Instagram and having a lot of followers does not make you a good fighter or not. Like, just to be clear there, like, that was like the worst argument ever. Like, stop. Everything from him, just like, somebody punch him in the face and just shut him up.
Please. That's why we were pulling for you, Nate. Devin, the fact that he said what he said about his wife, though, I don't know if you picked up on what he said about his wife, that he felt like maybe he was out there self-satisfying because his wife is ugly and he probably doesn't want to be with her anymore. Like, Why'd you have to bring the wife in it? Did that bother you? That's too much. That was too far for me.
Yeah, that's way too far for me too. Like, fine, if you want to be an idiot and post a video like this where you look like a complete whack job and you look ridiculous, go ahead. Talk shit, say whatever you want, but don't bring family members, children, wives, girlfriends, parents into it. It's just, I don't know. Jake Paul has never been a classy guy, but that takes him just way down to me. That's just like trashy and gross. But yeah, I wrote in the chat, just to Britt's point, I was like, I forgot that Insta followers equals strength. Like, how ridiculous does he sound saying that? Like, my dog gets more followers. Like, cool, good for you, congratulations. It doesn't mean anything. It's so
Your
dumb.
dog's cuter than you, so fine, whatever. You know, it's like, stop it. So I was excited, though, for a second because I felt like, you know, Twitter was going to drag him. Nate Diaz did chime in with exactly what I was thinking. He says, Jake Paul, you need your ass beat for free. You spoiled F. You can't really fight, dumb shit. You're going to end up with your ass whooped for real somewhere talking like that. And I was just ready for Twitter to fall in line like, yeah, shut up, Jake. But no, the first one, it was like he only has 2 pro fights, but has a better record than you with 2-0-0, while you have like 21-12-0. When people open their mouths, Jake closes them. Be careful what you say. And then this next girl says, how is he spoiled? He's self-made. He has enough, but he's willing to put it all on the line. Girl, stop. Girl, stop. I'm not even reading the rest of that. You lost me at put it all on the line. Girl, bye. I'm not entertaining these shenanigans with you. No, I am not. Go ahead, Britt.
For Nate Diaz to be sticking up for Conor McGregor is huge because they hate each other. Like, Nate Diaz and Conor don't like each other, but because they are actually professional athletes and really care about the sport that they participate in, they know that you don't hit below the belt. You don't talk about wives. You don't talk about people's kids, this, that, and the third. These 2 guys do not like each other. And yet he knows the code of ethics here and knows, we ain't about to do this. You ain't about to come for other people. You can come for me all day. We could fight. We could do this, but you ain't coming for fam. And I think that like, was so commendable, honestly, of Nate Diaz, because I know how much him and Conor McGregor don't like each other. And like, but to know in this real game of like boxing or MMA stuff, like there's certain rules that they all adhere to and they don't cross those lines. And that's why Jake Paul needs to get his flat beat and get out of this. So he never wants to try to fight anybody else again, because he's messing up what is a sport that's like, you know, about something and about ethics and about like, you know, the grind and grit of it. So peace out, guys.
Yeah, I would love to see Jake Paul get beat up. But if he has to beat up somebody, if Jake Paul just has to beat up somebody to feel good about himself, I would like to nominate Malik Beasley as tribute, because I cannot stand this man. I am just appalled by all of his actions. And after, you guys know, he kicked out his wife and his kids unapologetically. And now he's unapologetically professing his love for NBA's most notorious get-around girl, because Larsa posted this on her Instagram. She says, what makes you the happiest? And then you see right there, he says you with a heart in it. I am so, like, somebody need to knock him out too. So if we can have two simultaneous knockouts, maybe they could just knock each other out. That would be awesome. I would be here for that, because I can't stand neither one of these people. But let me move on to this next one real quick, because you guys remember the kid, right, that we saw that knocked out the ref. Let me just show you the video real quick in case you forgot. Not knocked him out, but he ran onto the field and tackled the ref, you know, full on. So now we know his name. His name is Emmanuel Duran. He is a Edinburgh's High defensive end, and he is the reigning District 31 6A Defensive Player of the Year. He's also a top wrestler and was expected to compete for a state wrestling title. And now all of that has kind of gone out the window, because Complex is reporting that he has been banned from all high school sports. Now, I don't know how long that ban is, but people think that this is way too harsh of a penalty for this kid, because he is a child. So people are saying, you know, what's the backstory? What did the ref do? I don't care what the ref did. That's a dumb comment, but no player should lose their nerve and go for the referee for nothing. there's still a code of conduct. You can't be out there doing that. And then this one says, I don't believe he should have a punishment that harsh. He's a teen, and we've all made mistakes. I'm for being punished, but not like this. He's just a kid. I actually kind of agree with that. This is a kid who clearly likes to play violent sports to some extent. So I would definitely be for a 1-year ban, but I don't know if I would want to end, because him being a wrestler and playing football could lead to him potentially getting a scholarship, going to college, and then bettering his life in some way. So I don't know if I would want to ban him permanently. So check back with this. Maybe follow us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're gonna find out. Huh?
I have the answer.
You have the answer. Okay, what is it? How long is it?
Yeah. He's a senior, so it's till he graduates. So yeah, so he's a senior, so it's going to be the remainder of the year. But they've already had the majority of their football season. He's already competed at whatever. So any scholarships or whatever that he could potentially get, people are already still going to hit him up for that.
They could take him back. That wouldn't be the first time we've seen something happen to a high school kid like this, and then they say, oh, we're taking back your scholarship, which clearly this man needs a higher education, because otherwise he's going to be running around here doing this to normal people. So let's go ahead and put that man in college if we can. So, all right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on what we not going to do, because we are running low on time, but I am going to say this. James Harden, I've been telling the world that I'm going to stand by this, that Giannis should only have one MVP right now. He should only have one, because you should have the other one. And I have been in your corner for so long, like Tyra Banks. I've been rooting for you this whole time. But what you're doing right now, to me, is completely embarrassing. John Wall is out here saying that he wants to play with you. We just talked about PJ Tucker saying that he doesn't feel appreciated. I don't know if you could help that situation, but I think maybe you could. But I think James Harden is forgetting how hard it is for the Houston Rockets to trade him right now because of how good he is. He's been the leading scorer in the league for the last 3 seasons. And I think he needs to be like that scene from Boiler Room where Ben Affleck was like, you got to act as if. You got to act as if your trade stock depends on how you act with your current organization, because right now you just look like a diva, you look like a crybaby, and you look like a headache, and I don't think people want to deal with that. You also have to act as if the guy that you said you wanted to play with in John Wall, like maybe he can make a difference, and maybe you guys can at least go to the Western Conference Finals, not farther than that, because me and my Lakers trying to run it back, but I would want you to get at least that far. But PJ Tucker's saying, like I said, he doesn't feel appreciated. And now John Wall, I feel bad for him because he's looking like a schoolgirl with a high school crush, because he says, I think me and James can be a heck of a combination. I just hope we can get the opportunity to get into the regular season and see how it goes. So this guy is literally saying, like, hey, I really want to play with this guy. And James is not reciprocating. And the places he want to go, it's not going to happen. The 76ers are not going to get rid of Joel Embiid. They're not going to get rid of Ben Simmons. So that's out. And the Nets are going to trade Kyrie. So that's out. So now you have to realize that the Houston Rockets are going to have to put in work to trade you. And you're not giving them any reason to put in work. You're not giving any other team reason to want to work with you. So what we're not going to do is forget how much I'm rooting for you. What we're not going to do is miss every single opportunity to be professional and not be a drama queen, because all you're doing right now is being a drama queen instead of a dope basketball player, and you're messing up your trade stock. So be better, do better. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, I don't really like the owner. Okay, you ain't the first person in the history of time who had to work for an owner they don't really like. Get over your life, get over yourself, go out there and play ball and do better. Please, before John Wall starts crying on stop it. Don't do that to that man. That's all I got for what we're not going to do. Let's get Devin up in the mix right now, because now it is time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
All right, guys, it is time for Britt's Take. This one is very interesting one that I'm going to be talking about. Usually I am going to agree with anything that is like, oh, people are trying to come after the women because, I'm a woman and I've experienced it plenty of times. But this one was very interesting. So obviously we had talked about Sarah Fuller before. She became the first female in one of the Power 5 schools to play in a game, and she did something else this weekend that was even better. She was a goalkeeper, obviously originally, turned place kicker, and she became the first woman to secure an extra point in a Power 5 conference school. She nailed not one, but two of the extra points in the first quarter and one in the fourth quarter of the game. Before, remember, she was just kind of doing kickoffs, place holding, yada, yada, all this kind of stuff. But she got the opportunity to kick some extra points, and she made both of them. She's 2 for 2, which is a lot better than I could say for a lot of NFL kickers after this past weekend. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check the games and check what kickers did in games this weekend. It was terrible. It was insanely terrible. Missing extra points, missing field goals. Terrible weekend for NFL kickers. But there was a reporter that actually wanted to point something out, and he thought that the other team, Tennessee, was being soft. So he said, did Tennessee let Vanderbilt kicker Sarah Fuller kick her extra point without any pressure on purpose? They literally brought no pressure. This is a joke, and it's honestly insulting to female athletes. Why is the defense treating her differently? So people were like, my guy, what are you talking about? Well, he decided to show what he was talking about in this next tweet when he circled the defense and what it looked like on this extra point. So he said, I mean, this can't be real, right? Look at how loose Tennessee is playing here. Would the Volunteers do this if the kicker was anywhere else? The answer is obviously no. It's not obviously no, because I looked at it and I was like, that looks like how most college and NFL teams set up for a field goal kick. So I'm confused what he's talking about. Like, there's clearly like people everywhere, and they're ready to, which was one of the questions, because obviously Vanderbilt is 0-8 and Tennessee is like 2-6. So they're both crappy teams in football. And so they've kind of been, we've seen them in previous games do like the fakes where they end up going for it for the 2-point conversions and stuff. So this is why they set up like that, because they were making sure that they didn't go for the 2. And Twitter agreed with me on this one, because usually I try to stick up for the situation, but this was really weird that he even said that. This guy said, it's very clear they were wary of a fake, considering she has never kicked an extra point in a game before and didn't know if the coaching staff would trust her as a walk-on backup. That's just basic scouting. Why would you think the other team would just let them tie the score? Exactly. Like, why would you think the other team would be like, oh, well, because she's a girl, we're going to like make sure we're easier on her so she could end up making an extra point and we can tie the game. No team would do that, period, point blank. Next tweet said this: you're not serious, are you? When was the last time you've seen an NFL college team not line up like this on an XP? Seriously, reaching here, dude. And this last one said this: the ratio on this tweet is incredible. This man is showcasing some remarkable tiny D energy. You know, I always love talking about the tiny D energy because it's so funny. This guy was so like in his thing, like, oh, there's no way a female could actually like make an extra point or a field goal or anything like that. Like, there's no way. Like, this defense had to have been going easy on her for her to make not one but 2 of them. And he tried it. And usually I am so saddened by Twitter and the Twitter world, because they always let me down when I think I'm like, yes, like Twitter's going to have my back and they're going to agree with me on this. They usually don't. They usually, whatever the worst possible thing that they could ever say to human beings is, that's what they believe on Twitter. Like, that is Twitter. We always hear the worst of the worst. In this situation, though, there were so many tweets to this reporter going in on him about how idiotic he is to even think that Tennessee would be trying to go easy on the kicker because she was female, and that the only reason why she made it was because they were going easy on her. Like, Twitter was going in on this guy, and I loved every bit of it, because I didn't honestly see not one tweet, and I scrolled for a while. I went in there looking for the ones that were going to agree with this guy, because that was going to be my argument here. But they all agreed with me, and I love you guys. I feel like my optimism would like to say that there's a change coming in this world. I don't believe we're that far yet, but this is a good little silver lining on this cloud that women can't play sports, especially football, and nobody likes WNBA basketball and yada yada, all this kind of stuff. This is a glimmer of hope that people are starting to be like, no, well, if the girl's a good kicker and she can kick, then she kicked the ball and she made it because she's a good kicker, not because you guys went easy on her. So thank you, Twitter. That was a good moment for you guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys continue on this path of righteousness and hope and positivity and female empowerment. But that is it for Britt's Take today, you guys. Thank you so much for finally being on my side on something.
I was worried when you started this.
I was worried when I was looking at the tweets. I was like, here we go. And then I was like, wait, and I was like, I gotta change my thing here. I'm gonna actually do something positive and say you guys were doing a great job. Thank you. I had to change it up.
This was a great way to end our live show today. I love this note. This is an uplifting note for everybody. So thank you for that, Britt. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you do that now and tap the bell for notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. Leave a comment below, share this video with your friends, do all of the things, and of course, wash your hands and wear a mask. We will see you guys later tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, everybody. Happy Taco Tuesday.
Bye. Ay,